America just feels different now, and it makes me sad. Today we're going to have a different type of video. Sometimes I verge into politics, and I don't really want this video or my channel in general to be political, but I do want to talk about a few things on my mind about recent events and dealing with all this negativity. If you get really worked up about politics, maybe this isn't the video for you, but I'm very worried about the direction of the country that I love. Several things worry me that I'm going to get into. I believe there is a huge crisis of purpose and meaning in this country. This is causing people to dive too far into politics and take things to the extreme. This, of course, comes after some big, horrific events, especially with what happened to Charlie Kirk, that got me thinking, so I wanted to share my thoughts. This has affected me more than I thought it would, and I want to understand why. I originally didn't want to make a video on this and stay on topic for my channel, which normally talks about business and money, but this was just eating away at me and the impact it has on society and young people and their search for meaning in general, so I want to get into it. I want to start with some background. First of all, how did we get here? When I was younger, politics was kind of an afterthought. I felt like the world was filled with much more optimism about the future, and people engaged in politics with respect, and more people bought into the American dream. And sure, there were still questionable things happening all the time, but overall I felt like politics took a backseat to many people's lives, and we weren't bombarded with it constantly. We didn't have phones, we didn't have a constant reminder, the media wasn't as biased, and people in politics seemed to just have a lot of respect for each other and didn't use crazy words to describe the other side. And the temperature was just not that high, like people did not hate each other. Maybe that's because I was younger and I didn't notice it. Maybe I just didn't care at the time. I don't know, but talking to older people, they seem to agree that people were less into it in the past. Then I don't really know what happened, but slowly people got more and more into politics. And I think late into the Obama presidency, then Trump's first term, then Biden, and then now, politics has gotten really ugly. And I've been asking myself, where did this go so terribly wrong to where now political violence is becoming not only common, but people are actually happy over the deaths of others just because they have differing views? Like, how did we get to this terrible point? This is not the America I grew up in, and it's not the one I signed up for. I think the new age of politics is amplified by a variety of things. Let's start with the surface level. I think the development of phones and social media amplified and drove people further into the echo chamber. Like, we have information overload nowadays and we're controlled by algorithms. If you're not careful, it can really suck you into it. The media also got way more biased as time went on because saying crazier things just gets better ratings. Like, there's so much noise that you have to say something insane to stick out. And because of a lot of these things, we've devolved into this really weird situation. And I also think that society getting a little bit harder for our generation has made people susceptible to more radical views. Like, more and more people are giving up on society, giving up on dating and working, and they're basically chronically online, and that makes you vulnerable to these things. And sadly, lost and misinformed people searching for meaning without good role models in their life will become heavily influenced by the echo chambers and end up doing crazy things to ruin their lives or lives of others. In my mind, social media has become this very, very detrimental thing for our generation. My personal view on this is that people are starving for a deeper purpose or some sort of value structure in their lives. It used to be God, having a family, religion, or something deeper, but it's changed. Purpose is something I think about a lot personally. I ask myself questions like, where do I fit into this world? What am I here for? What do I bring to the table? And the answers to those questions are not always obvious. And in a way, I think getting really into politics gives people that purpose and identity that they're searching for. The problem with this is that if you adopt a more radical or destructive political view, not only will you not be happy, but you might really negatively affect others or become blind or brainwashed to what's going on around you. And that can be very misdirected energy that I see is so common with young people. So people get into university, and let's be honest, most people who are 18 to 22 are really malleable in their thoughts, and I definitely was at that age. And they get into college, and maybe they make an interesting group of friends that really influences who they become, and then they simply just go with the flow, like whatever makes them fit in more. And instead of thinking through their thoughts and actions, they're just thinking and doing what everyone else does and close themselves off to any other viewpoints. They kind of make the assumption that everyone else whose opinion is different than mine is that they either must be evil, just a bad person, or they're stupid, nothing in between. For me personally, when it comes to politics, I like to try to see things on an issue-by-issue basis as well as I can. And I would definitely consider myself more of a conservative, especially in the financial world, but I do have some liberal beliefs. I consider myself overall a moderate conservative. But if you watch my content, you know that I really don't care what you believe as long as you're respectful. But it's clear to me that many people are just taking these things way too far and are abandoning all forms of openness and take on politics as their complete and total identity. What gives me purpose in my life is not politics. It's my belief in God. It's my family. It's my fiance, my friends, and the work I do on a day-to-day basis. Politics, although it affects me, is very far down that list of what I need to spend my days worrying about. And Christianity, for me, helps me have structure in my life and a value system. And if that's not your thing, that's fine. That's just how I do it. And sometimes I'm worried that if your worldview is formed by politics and your values are formed by politics, sometimes that can be a gray area. Nowadays, many people have replaced God or even all those things that I mentioned above with worshiping politics and consuming and posting political content all day. And people make it their entire identity. And I get it, right? Politics is important. It has real world consequences. But in reality, there are limited things we can do as individuals to change things. We can vote, and we should vote. We can persuade people. But in my mind, worrying all day about something that you really have minimal control over is not a good use of time. There are ways you can change politics and change the world. And I think Charlie was a great example of that. If you work hard enough and believe in something and get better and work hard and elevate yourself, you can get the money or influence enough to actually change things. I mean, this guy went from university to university, just spreading his ideas and his views and debating people openly and inviting people who didn't agree with him. And he did this for at least 10, 12 years. So changing the world is possible. Recent events have gotten me to reevaluate the American dream a little bit. Like, I'm grappling with what is the constantly changing and even death of the old American dream. In my mind, the old American dream used to be this amazing thing, right? You go get a job, you live in a beautiful and safe place, you make enough money to retire, you have a family, you send your kids to a safe school, and then you do great. In this country, you can still be successful, don't get me wrong, like there's still no better place than here in my mind, but it's changed a lot. I do not want to give up on America, and I don't enjoy even the thoughts that I'm having lately, because in my mind, the new American dream to me seems like it's to just make enough money to move out of the cities and only interact with people you really trust and limit going out in public and just kind of live a quiet life outside of all the nonsense. And I don't like that. It's very sad to me that that's something that's on the table. Like, I feel the pull to withdraw, like it's the easy thing to do. But I want to be clear, I don't want that to be our future. We should be able to go out in public and express ourselves, and I'm very for that. I don't want it to be that way where people who should be sharing their thoughts are suppressed, and the best way to be safe is to just be quiet and discreet and live in isolation, and I don't want that. I don't think we should give up on America that easily. This is America, and we fight for what we want, and that's what makes us who we are. America used to be, in my opinion, the best country to be in. It's just taken a rough turn, but I still believe it is the best country to be in if you want to build an amazing life. I still think we have so much potential, but we seem to be fighting with ourselves. We're destroying ourselves from the inside, and I think that's just people's search for meaning and purpose. I mean, I feel bad for anyone in the media, the government, the business owners. People can't go in public anymore without an insane level of security because people are just need to protect themselves and not say anything. I mean, this attack recently was an attack on open dialogue. Young people are more lost and searching for meaning than ever before, and I want people to turn away from these evil thoughts. So what can we do? And that's really an open question because I don't know the answer. We fight so much about these things and ruin friendships and ruin relationships, and that's not the answer. Politics is just simply way too divisive. I mean, I remember in 2020, I was even afraid to say I was a conservative in public because of what was going on at the time. I mean, I still find that when you talk to people, you have to walk on eggshells when touching on sensitive topics, and that's not the way you want to do it because a lot of political topics are very complex. They're not black and white, which is why you need to discuss them. That's one thing I really respected Charlie for, was he was always for engaging in open debate. He wants to understand the other side, and this is very different from aimlessly just fighting with people. You got to seek to understand. And sure, I didn't agree with everything the guy said or all of his views. Like, I would see his content occasionally in my feed, and sometimes I'd be like, okay, yeah, I believe in that. And then other things I'd say, yep, definitely don't like that. But I have tremendous respect for him for openly debating and just working hard. Because at the end of the day, the dude openly debated people. He showed up to campuses that are very openly liberal. He showed that individuals can make a big difference. And he built a pretty impressive empire, whether you agree with his views or not. He made a difference in many people's lives, and a lot of the things he was doing was trying to help young people figure life out and find purpose and meaning and come to God. And that's one thing I heavily aligned with, is that he's trying to help young guys figure it out. And he made a lot of great suggestions in my mind. Like, maybe university isn't the answer anymore. Maybe prioritizing family is more important than your career. Maybe we should find God as a society. Maybe it's bad to normalize and glorify hookup culture. Maybe consuming adult content will destroy you slowly. He had a lot of what I thought are good messages for young people to hear, and he got me thinking about structure in life and purpose, which is something that's super important yet not talked much about. And now he's gone from the world essentially because he was just debating and sharing his ideas. I mean, what message does that send? That we're opposed to people publicly expressing views? Like right now, people think that You have to just delete or suppress any opposing viewpoint. Like you think you're that smart that you know everything and everyone else is automatically wrong. So let's silence them. I mean, that really concerns me because it's just an unwillingness and an almost selfishness that you're putting your views above everyone else's. This is a guy who was not in office. He had no political power. He's just a guy who built his empire going to college campuses and inviting people to debate him. I mean, he's basically a political social media influencer. So it's just crazy to me that, this happens to him. I mean, it's just insane. There are crazy people out there on the internet, and it's a bad time for people of heavy influence. Like, I bet all the guys out there with these big followings are just being very careful. There are actual safety threats, right? Even in the COD community, I think of Woody's gamer tag getting swatted. Like, there's risks to expressing your views publicly, but we cannot go in this direction, both in America and in your life. We will lose our greatness so fast if people cannot stand up and share what they believe. People get really worked up and do not engage with an open mind anymore. And I think we have to have a conversation about being able to have conversations, because that's how you reach the truth. It's just getting into those uncomfortable conversations. And also, I think young people need role models. Due to the complexities of society now, people's minds are messed up. And lots of people, they think, Charlie had radical views. And I was raised similar to Charlie personally in a Christian conservative way. So his views were strict for sure, but they were not very out there for me. I do think that being a great role model is important. And if you want men to be strong, you want people to get married, follow God, and work hard and make a difference, if that's not what you want, then I'd like to see a better alternative that brings people closer to purpose and happiness. I can only imagine what his family's going through, his wife and kids. And I saw that video, I didn't want to see it. I could not get it out of my head. And it's even worse to know his family was likely right there in front of him as it happened. So that also brings me to the other side of this that worries me. People celebrating his death. Like, if you're someone celebrating his death or saying, he did this to himself, he advocated for the things that were ultimately his death. First of all, unsubscribe from my channel. I don't want anything to do with you. I would never, ever celebrate someone's death, even if I strongly disagree with their views or even dislike them. That's a different level. We need to find our humanity again. If that's you, you need to look in the mirror and find a better way forward. Like, we got to get out of that place. I'm worried that the rhetoric will just continue to be amped up, and this could be a slippery slope if people get angry enough. All the other stuff that happened last week too, the country just seems a little more dark now than ever before, and it's hard to see the light right now, but I'm trying my best. There is evil in this world, and we cannot stand for less. Sadly, the people who fight the hardest put the biggest targets on their backs, and we're all just humans at the end of the day, man. We're imperfect humans just trying to get by. All of us should fight and work hard for what we believe in, just like he did. We can carve out our own light in the world, and Charlie was like all of us. He was not perfect, not a perfect person at all. He definitely said some things that a lot of people don't agree with, but that's okay. He's just an imperfect guy sharing his thoughts in an imperfect world, as are all of us. And if you really think differently, then express that with your words and your hard work. There's a lot of uncertainty in the world, and you can really go at any time. So now's the time to better yourself and get right with God and be the person that you need to be, because your time can run out at any time. We're all human beings just trying to do our best in this world. So if you're really sad about this, just know that life will get better. And I try to tell myself that the man upstairs has a plan for everything, even if we don't understand it yet. But we cannot worship politics. It's just not going to be the solution. Please get off your phone and engage with the world in a better way. I'm trying to challenge myself to do that and just be better. We got to get our spark back, got to get our fight back, and really try to understand each other a little bit more. So I'm going to be better moving forward, more understanding, working harder, and fighting for what I believe in to help people out there to help figure out their lives. So let's be better and let's build something better for next generation. Hope you guys have a good one.